Welcome to another day of viewing on public access television. We hope you enjoy today's programming.
Well, hey, welcome back. If you haven't seen the first part of this video, I will link it down below. It is a almost 30-minute tour of all the changes I've made to my park in the past 2-ish weeks. So I will link that below, but this is the time lapse. This was going to be part of that video. However, I mean, making an hour-long video, it's fine, but I'd rather just split it up into two different chunks so people can choose what they want to watch. I know people like time lapses. I know some people just like tours. So best of both worlds, right? Hannah Montana. I don't know. But this is me trying to figure out my main street. So I had this building originally as our guest services building, which was just gonna have like information and stuff. And it was on the other side, and it had like almost like a Frank Lloyd Wright type look to it. But I ended up changing how the hotel was positioned, and I added a hotel, I guess. So it just wouldn't fit over there. I tried to add like maybe some planters on like the second floor to kind of make it look like the rooms don't overlook just like a roof. It's like a little garden. But I just ended up putting a road in and like kind of curving the main street, which then ended up actually giving me a lot more room on Main Street. But the park is like lopsided now, so I don't know if that's a good thing, but I think it works for the park. It's like a Disney park, but it's not exactly like a Disney park. It's a weird combination of like Universal parks and Disney. It's a strange park, but I like it. It's really cool. Here I am building a chandelier. So we had these resort pieces, these like weird those things, and I was like, well, they could make a cool chandelier. So I tried to make it look somewhat decent. I think it turned out pretty cool, but I like how those just look like little Oreos. Like now I'm hungry. But yeah, I do like how this building turned out. It's not finished yet. I am waiting for the souvenir update to come out, so that'll be, like the full interiors and all that stuff. So I'll like jump back into these buildings and finish them and add trims and all that stuff. But for now, it's just kind of like a this is the direction I want to go. This is kind of what I have in my head, because like I know I jump around a lot in my parks, and it's just because I have so many ideas. And I'm like a very forgetful person, so like sometimes I'll just forget, and I'm like, I just gotta get my ideas down before I do anything. So it's why my park is it's built so weird. I'm working on one thing, and then I move to the next thing, and then I transition to like a new thing. And I will say the Mythology land, my Mythopolis area, it's been like a thorn in my side for a long time, because the mythology theme, it's hard to work with. It's the columns and all that, like that's one thing, but I feel like I built the land backwards than how I built Aqualand. In Aqualand, it started with a dark ride, and then it became like the Facade, and then like a second ride, then a third, then like the flat rides. And with Mythopolis, it was the Facade first, and then the rides second. So that's kind of my issue, is I didn't think about theming first. Or, I mean, like, I didn't think of the rides first and then added theming. I thought of the theming first, and then I'm adding the rides second. It's like a backwards way to build a park, or at least how I would build it usually. So that's why I'm so stumped sometimes on Mythopolis. I'm not really sure what to do. But here I am making a custom floor. So this is something I don't usually do. I don't usually get this granular in like any build of mine in Planet Coaster. because I just don't really, like, I think the stalls are fine. Like, it's a game. I'm not really that, it doesn't really matter to me, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to make this main street, like, as main streety as possible. That didn't make sense, but you kind of get what I'm getting at, right? Like, I have never done this before. I've never gone this far into these little details, so it's going to be an interesting little challenge. So I did these really cool glass doors, and I was going to try to add like trim on the bottom, but I couldn't find anything that really worked. I think I used some support pieces, so like those, the wooden support pieces. So the one thing I do, they added different colors and a different an opacity slider, which is great. The only thing that this is the little tiniest thing. Well, actually, literally, I feel like the trim on the glass is a little bit too thin to be like useful. I don't know. It's just me. It's just like a preference for me. But I feel like I want it to be like a little bit thicker. That's just me. But yeah, they added cool like colored glass and all these new updates, and I'm making my own door handle, which I've never done before. Like I said, I don't usually get this granular in a Planet Coaster build, and I also don't usually take as long to upload my videos. You may have noticed there's a 2-week gap between this one and the last one. I was on a little trip with my family, and I am getting ready for college in the fall, so my uploads might, decrease and all that stuff, but yeah, I'm working on myself, so it evens out. But yeah, I'm just like, I feel bad that it was like a 2-week period, but I mean, so many updates. I did bring my computer on my trip with me, and I did work a tiny bit on the park, but I actually had a really cool conversation with my cousin who used to work at Disney, and she worked there in the 90s, and we were looking at Google Earth and like maps and all that, and it's just, she was surprised at how much the Backstage had expanded, and I didn't realize that the utilidors went all the way out to the cast parking way in the back. I had no idea. I knew that the utilidors were big, but I didn't realize they were that large in that, crazy. And I'm like, that's nuts. I wish I had the forethought in this to try to build something kind of like that, but also like the terrain, and it would be very hard. I know like Parkitect has stuff like that where people get really into that, but yeah, I don't know. Planet Coaster is different. It would be cool if we had the same mechanics that we do in Parkitect, but I don't know. Like delivery systems would be really neat, but you'd have to like, I don't know, like the whole scheduling sometimes of the park employees is like a bit crazy, and yeah, I don't know. This was me trying to figure out how to block this little tiny thing. I kept this footage in because I think it's so funny. It took me so long to figure it out. I'm like, oh, this is embarrassing. Is it? Oh, no, I didn't like that idea. Yeah, I don't know why this took me so long. But yeah, there's a little skylight. And I will go back and furnish this with the souvenir update. It's coming out, I think, next month, which, like, I have been saying it for a long time. When Planet Zoo added their souvenir update, I played with it a little bit, and I'm not that big into Planet Zoo, and when I saw it, I was like, this would be amazing in Planet Coaster, and, well, now it's going to be in Planet Coaster 2, and I'm like, this is like my dream, like, coaster game, with the restaurants, with, like, little trays that people, like, they're doing so much really good work on this game, and I really hope that people, like, review it nicely on Steam now. Like, it's had its issues, but I think it's definitely, lived up to the hype, I would say, now. I mean, it's, it was a bumpy road, but we're there, I think, now. Especially with the inclusion of all of the themes from the old game. it's just, I'm like, they added the sci-fi theme, and like now they're adding the fantasy and the pirate next month along with the souvenir shops, and I'm like, okay, being a fan of the Sims franchise and seeing how many times they've dropped the ball on updates, and like things from like 2015 are still broken, so that's fun. And they're releasing a new expansion pack, and it seems like they only release things in expansion packs anymore. Like, we don't have game packs, we don't have stuff packs anymore. It's only like kits and expansion packs, which is very strange, and I don't like it. I'm like, why are you charging this much money for a thing that's very clearly just a game pack? This is a conversation about The Sims and not Planet Coaster, but yeah, I don't know. It's just the gaming, industry as a whole has changed a lot, and it's nice to see that Frontier, does still care about the game, and like the people that make the game, I can see are very passionate about the game. So it's just nice to see. Here I am figuring out the space I have for the second facade that I'm going to work on. And, just kidding, I work on the ceiling because I realized there's still no ceiling in here, so yeah. And then I changed the colors on these things to kind of match the bottom. I didn't copy the same trim and all that up because I was like, that's a lot of work, and I'm like, it's fine if that looks a little bit different, because it lights up at night differently than the other parts do, so I'm not that worried about it. So I was trying to figure out a trim to use, and I like using these because they have like a nice like brick texture to them. So I use this, and I like layer a couple more. And so this entire building is actually built with no grid pieces, so that's unusual for me. I usually only use the grid pieces, or mostly the grid pieces, to build. So, but the one next to this on the right, that was the first one that I built in this area, and I like it, but I think because I've built these two now with such like finer details, like that one doesn't really fit anymore. So I think I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna fix that one to kind of, make it match these ones a little bit better. So, but yeah, this is a pretty cool building. It's based off of one from Hollywood Studios. It's not exact. The one in Hollywood Studios has like some turquoise details on it, but I figured that because the Hat's Fantastic is already like greenish blue and the automat's already green, I'm like, I don't want to keep adding turquoise. Yeah, see, I was gonna add, but I'm like, no, I'm just gonna make it like orange. So I do add some like yellow and some like gray, and it's in the form of these like I forget what they're called, but like not decals, but they're almost like dark ride flat pieces, like set pieces almost. So we have those in the game, and I haven't really used them for anything. So they're good for just like putting in walls, like merging them with walls to kind of make like a pattern. So that's what I did here. So I think I'll grab them in a minute, because I was like, oh yeah, I have those and I can use them. But I always forget that I have them. Like the catalog in this game is like really big, and I'm not entirely sure what we have still. So it's, there's a lot, and it's new, and I'm like, so I'm just unfamiliar. But I think this is where I go through and I change the color of this to kind of be like a little bit brighter, to kind of match the Hat's Fantastic logo a little bit better. So it was hard selecting everything. This reminds me, I should probably put those windows on the inside, right? Because that's how windows work. So I should probably add that and some extra little details in here. But that's when I get, the souvenir update, which I'm so excited about. I've been talking about it like nonstop. Also, this tree is funny because what did The Sims teach me? That if there's like an empty corner, just put a plant in it. So that's what I did. It doesn't make much sense. I don't think it would actually maybe grow there or be, good in that, but it works in the game, right? I don't know. It looks like it fills that little space. This is going to be a bit of a challenge, this little main street. It's divided into two areas, and the half that I'm working on now has like the big main restaurant, And I want it on this side so that I can actually have like backstage access, like how they usually do, and have like the kitchen over here. And the main street that's in the middle, which is like surrounded by paths on all sides, is just retail. Or I think I'm going to keep it just retail. I might add some vendors. Oh, here I'm trying to figure out a different color scheme for this building. Like I said, I'm probably just going to demolish it and try again with like the same shape. And it is a hot dog squad now. I know that I did remove the Just a Memento, and I think I put the souvenir shop in there only because the awnings that came with Just a Memento matched the colors that I had on the trim of the building. But now I'm like, I'm just adding so many details to these buildings, I'm just gonna, make it what I want it to be, I guess. You kind of get what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna just stick to, like, the branding. Well, I say that, and I recolored the whole building to match the Hat's Fantastic logo, but, it's just, I think I just want these buildings to kind of have their own thing outside of the Planet Coaster, like, branding, which is what I usually just stick to, because I think it's, like, I like the branding, I don't know, like, the Pip Shot juice and all that, like, the Gulpy. I want to meet the person who did the graphic design for all that stuff. I'm like, it's really good, I like it, like, so delightful, Just a Memento, like, they're all puns. Like, I love that. So, but, yeah, so, okay, we are getting the fantasy theme next month, the pirate theme, and I have started working on the Fantasyland behind the castle, and the castle has just kind of been sitting there unfinished, because that's a big task, and I've been waiting for the fantasy theme or something kind of like the fantasy theme to finish it, because I can build the castle now, but it would just take up so many pieces and parts, and I'm like, my computer's kind of struggling as it is right now, so I'm not sure I want to keep adding to it, especially if this castle is going to be like the icon of the park. I don't want it to kind of, there's also like some LOD issues, so if you zoom out too far you won't really see it, and like it's the icon, so I want it to kind of be as like solid and as viewable from a distance as possible. So yeah, but I'm gonna try to make it like an Art Deco Disney castle, which it's gonna be a challenge. I'm not like, I'm okay with Art Deco, but I'm trying to apply it to a Disney castle and like Disney proportions, so it's gonna be a bit of a challenge. And they've never done an Art Deco castle before, or like an Art Nouveau, so everything's very fantasy, or in Shanghai, very Costco. It's just such a big castle. It's just a big old box. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Shanghai castle. It's just so big. Like, it's nice. I like the colors. It has some cool roof lines, but it's just, the base of it is so massive. And I get why it's so big, because there's a restaurant, there's a walk-through attraction, there's that massive like chandelier thingy in the middle of it, and then there is the boat ride in the basement. So there's a lot happening in that castle. There's probably even more like behind the stage, and a kitchen, right? Because it has to have, so there's probably like all kinds of things happening. That's why it's so big. But it doesn't look right. The proportions are wrong to me. That's just what I think. I've never liked it, but I do like the new Hong Kong castle. It's very tall and skinny, which I think is interesting. Like they built it like behind the original castle, which is weird, but I think it kind of works. I don't know. And I also have Adam's Landing, which is going to be, I want it to be like a spaceport, but also a retro 50s thing. So I don't really know the direction I'm going to go. Maybe I'll try to find some like old like 50s sci-fi comics and kind of look at their buildings for inspiration. Because I really like the idea of having like a 1950s like throwback to like old Tomorrowland, because I feel like they really should just theme Tomorrowland to the 50s and what it should be, without Monsanto, but like I don't know, I think that's a theme, and I think it would be really cool if they just kept it like that, but I don't think they ever will. So I mean, like, you know, Tron doesn't really fit in a 50s thing, but I'm kind of like, I don't know, I kind of miss the, like, when blenders were like the future and the word automation was like, you know, groundbreaking. Like, it makes me laugh, and I'm like, that's a theme, and it's like, that's kind of, I don't want to say it's comforting, but it's definitely more optimistic than the Tron future, you know? Yeah, so that's just my opinion, but maybe one day. But I'm trying to figure out how it can fit a 50s sci-fi theme in with the sci-fi theme that we have in the game. I'm not sure that I can. It's gonna take a lot of, you know, figuring things out, which it's fine, but I'm just like, it might take a while. So I do have the western area too, so that's, yeah, there's a lot happening in this park, honestly, but it's getting closer. Like, the Mythopolis area is getting closer to being finished. So, like I said, I built it backwards, so it wasn't, I didn't plan it right. I should have built like an attraction first and then built the facade and then done everything else, but my brain just didn't, you know, I was like, I built this Mount Olympus, I'm gonna use that, and then it changed a bazillion times, and then I'm like, I don't know what to put underneath it. A coaster? Okay, it's a coaster in a big black box now because I don't know what to do. So it's not the greatest, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, here I realized that you can see the air conditioning units from Aqualand, and I'm just kind of moving things. Here is a time lapse of everyone leaving the park. So I will see you in the next video, which will be out sooner than, you know, 2 weeks. So I will see you then.